Howdy folks, this is Tony here, and we're going to have a brief talk about this whole student loan forgiveness thing that Joe Biden wants to trot out at the last second right before an election, which that ought to tell you why he's doing it. But I'm here not to beat up on you if you took out student loans. I took out student loans, but I want to help you see the bigger picture and to encourage you. The first thing I'll say is that for the most part, student loan forgiveness is a scam because guess what? The government's going to want that money back. So even if they may forgive your loan, they'll raise everybody's taxes to pay for that. Or what they might do is if you live in a state that does this, some states, they'll look at your paperwork and say, oh, you've been forgiven for this amount of money in loans. We're going to use that to raise your taxes by this amount of money. So you're going to end up paying it back. So all Joe Biden's doing if he forgives your student loan is he's just changing how you pay it back, but he's not going to change the fact that you pay it back. So you're still going to struggle financially and he gets to walk away with the credit. And so I just hope you realize that's actually what's going on. And this really isn't a good thing for our country. Now, if you took out student loans, like I said, I'm not here to judge you on it, but I do want us to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The government loans you and I money. We take that money and we pay the college. Doesn't that mean that the government is indirectly paying the college? Through us, the borrowers, the government is paying the college. So if that college knows that the government is going to pay up, don't you think that that's going to motivate the college to raise their prices? Think about it. If I'm a college, I know the government is going to bring in a certain amount of money to me. Am I going to keep my prices low so that everyone can have a fair shot at education and at a brighter future? Or am I going to keep my prices high to squeeze as much money out of the process as I can? That's what these colleges are doing. They are raising the prices to squeeze as much money out of the government and you and I as much as possible. And that's why I will say that the only real solution to the student loan crisis is for the government to stop backing these student loans. The government needs to stop making student loans altogether. If the government stopped making loans, think about it now. As a college, you're going to realize, wait a minute, I can't gouge them for those exorbitant prices anymore because the government's not going to pay it. I need to bring my prices down to where they can afford it or I'm going to lose business. That's what we need to do. We need to have the government stop making student loans so that these colleges will come down on the prices and then the customer wins, just like how an economy is supposed to work. Businesses need to be forced to compete with each other to offer the best price, not race to who can get the highest price and squeeze as much out of the government and you and I as possible. So that's number one. Now, number two, if you've taken out student loans, I want to encourage you. You can pay them back. Don't give up. Don't live without hope. Just do the best you can. Again, let me tell you a little bit about my story, right? When I was a teenager, my mother told me, you're going to college, you're going to college. And she also said, if you go to college, I'll make sure it's paid for. Turned out that was a lie because, yeah, she did help pay a little bit of it, but I ended up having to take out the loans and I ended up having to pay them back. That's not her making sure it's paid for. That's me making sure it's paid for by giving up all of my 20s to basically do it. So, and that's a little lesson to you parents out there. Do not throw your children to the wolves. You know, a lot of parents, you want the bragging rights of being able to say, my kid goes to this college. You want to put it on your bumper sticker. You want to get the license plate cover. You want the t-shirt. You want the credibility of being able to say you sent your kid off to college, but you're not taking out the loan. Your kid is. You're not putting your financial future in jeopardy. Your kid is. You're not having to deal with the outcome of it. Your kid is. And that's not right. That's not fair. Parents, if you truly want to deserve the bragging rights of saying that your kid's in college, you take out the loan in your own name. Let your child's financial future be safe. You eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and beans and rice for a couple nights a week so you can afford to make those tuition payments. Don't throw your children to the wolves because that's not right and that's not fair to your children. And that's something that needs to stop. You parents need to start seeing the bigger picture. And there would be an emergency services vehicle while I'm trying to make this video. Anyway, that's something that's very important. Parents need to start seeing the bigger picture and don't let these banks and the government basically play you and just destroy your child's finances, because your child is going to be too busy paying off his or her student loans to afford the down payment on a house. Is that the future you want for your children? You're going to be walking around, I could afford stuff when I was 20. I don't know what you're doing. No, it's not what your kid's not doing. It's what you're not doing because you didn't want to take out the loan. You didn't want to save the money. You're forcing your child to do it. And that's not fair. Now, those of you who are in that situation, like I was, I want to let you know, you can pay it off. Don't give up hope. I paid off all of my student loans only on a teacher's salary. How did I do it? Well, the first thing I did was I consolidated all of my loans together. Then after I did that, I got on an income-based repayment plan. And what I did basically was every month I would pay to keep the interest from accruing. I would just pay off the interest because that's all I really could afford at that time. But then once I stayed a teacher for X amount of years and my pay came up just a little bit, I started throwing my tax refunds at the student loans. I threw my tax refunds at it. I even threw my stimulus check at it. I threw everything I could at it and then some. But you know what? In the meantime, while I was paying off my loans, while I was paying that off, I did not go out to eat once. I went to Chipotle maybe 10 times since I've graduated college, but going to a nice restaurant, have never done it since I graduated college. Going to the movies, have never done it since I graduated college. Going bowling, doing all these fun things. No, I lived a very boring life. Still am because, just because I paid off my funds doesn't mean I'm rich now just because I paid off my loans. But I did not do anything fun. I just went to work and went home. And if it was any entertainment I was looking for, my wife and I would use our library cards to go check out movies from the library. Or if it's a movie, I wonder how that movie went. I'm going to Wikipedia a few months after it came out and I'm just going to read the plot. Or I'm going to go on YouTube and watch YouTube videos. But I kept my fun as free as possible because I just couldn't afford it. And you know what? I did pay them off. I had to give up my 20s to do it, but it's possible. So I don't want you to give up hope. I want you to just keep a level head about it and don't panic. Do your best and just always remember God is in control. Have a wonderful day.